Hello again, YouTubes. This is Grimweird coming back at you with more Enigmatica 2 Expert mod pack for Minecraft. So last time we had a very adventuresome time. We got a reward of some Osglow glass block, which we were able to turn into some brown magic to put on our weapons and tools, which now lets us do some teleporting around in our base. So that's going to be lovely. We got the glider finally by making some forestry stuff. So that's wonderful. So there was it was a quantum leap forward in our travel abilities yesterday. And so what I'm doing here was I went ahead and ganged up both the clockwork and the survival generator on my squeezer. I needed to make the next forestry thing, which is impregnated casing, so that we could make the thermionic generator. A lot of other mods use these vacuum tubes or electron tubes that come out of the thermionic fabricator. So we definitely want to get that going before we take a break from forestry. So while the iron is still hot, we're going to go ahead and push on. So this is made in the Carpenter. It takes 250 millibuckets. Last time we just went ahead and used up, made an entire 1,000 millibuckets or one bucket, and transferred it over by bucket. But I mentioned that I think there was a pipette we could use. So this is the pipette, and I just tried it out, and I only did 25 seeds. I got 250 there. I was able to pick it up, right click to fill it, and then I came over here and right clicked it onto, oh, you can see it there. So I just took 250 millibuckets out and put it back in. So that lets you do partial loads there. So now I've got the 250 seed oil that I need for this recipe. I'm only really going to need one impregnated casing, so I'm going to do that once. Again, I recommend that when you're doing this, you take a look at these. You can mouse over them and hit U and see where they're used. The alveary and the apiary from forestry. I am just not going to get into bees yet from forestry. I don't know enough about them, so I need to do some research, and I don't really think I need anything from them yet. I think I will eventually. Definitely need to get into both the forestry bees and the gindustry stuff from what I'm hearing, but I'm just not quite there yet. So the only one I'm really going to need is for the thermionic fabricator. So I'm not going to double up on this recipe. I'm just going to make the one. And that is logs around the outside. So there I have taught it the recipe. It's going to make an impregnated casing. It won't recognize this recipe until I also give it the liquid it needs. But now it also needs the resources down here. So we're going to give it, it'll run out. It only needs 8, but we're going to put that on there. It had some stored RF, but it's burning through that quick. So we're going to knock that off, pick it up out of our global traveler destination, place that down there, wind it up real quick. And we're getting power again. And this will take a minute, but it's not too bad. We're only making one of them. So there we go. We've got our impregnated casing. We'll take that out. We'll let that keep pumping so it'll store up some energy again. We will take a look at our loot chest. I say we all the time. I don't know why. I'm playing alone. I just sort of consider myself to be in partnership with Zombie Steve here. So let's see. cow in a jar. So that's one of those cooking for blockheads thing. I think we're quite a ways away from doing that. We got monsters up on the hill. I might have to take that hill down a notch because I don't want any skeletons shooting at me from up there. But anyway, so we've got that. What else do we need for the thermionic? We're going to need, I made some gears. We need the hardened casing. So here we're going to use up a sturdy casing and surround it with diamonds. And then we need to put 5 buckets of water in the carpenter. So since it's night, there's a bunch of monsters around. I'm going to pause a moment and then go fill up my carpenter and get my diamonds and get all this organized and get this crafting, and then we will make it. Be right back. Okay, we're back and we've got some water in there and we've taught it the recipe, and we've got 4 of the diamonds in there. So when we give it the last piece, it should go. So it's moving, it's taking its 5 buckets of water. We're going to go ahead and get this all clicked up. It had a little power stored in it, but it's going to need more. But this is a pretty fast one, so yoink, there we go, we're done. And then that was to make the Thermionic Fabricator, which is, it's on the crafting table. So we should be good to go. Ta-da! So we'll throw that down there and we'll take a look at our loot chest. Hopefully we'll get something exciting. Red velvet cake. Now I think that can actually be used in some interesting recipes. So let's see, I'm not going to just use this necessarily as a food source. It can be used in some drill speed augments, speed runes, a speed charm. Yeah, so we're going to hold on to these and use them as crafting components. So I'm going to not throw those in my food bin, but I'm going to throw those over in my magic box. So that was a little more exciting than a normal food one, so that's good. So the Thermionic Fabricator, we'll be making some electron tubes with that soon, but basically how it works is just like the ones we've been using. You teach it a recipe by clicking pieces up here, you know, things like that, and then you put the actual resources down here. But then the weird part about it is that it uses liquid glass. So you put some sand or some sandstone up in here, and it'll give you a little bar up here, and it takes it a while to melt that sand or sandstone, and then once it melts it, it starts building things. So if we show recipes, it'll show you how much liquid glass it needs. We're going to be using this mostly for these kinds of electron tubes. Again, to make the interconnectedness of this mod pack work, they had to do a lot of making things go in other directions, so and make them work in other mods. So we'll be using things like this, the rubberized electron tubes, and a lot of these electron tubes, golden electron tubes, in like, you know, other types of mod packs, other tech mod packs. And the first one we'll be doing is, and the reason we pushed for the Thermionic right now is we are going to be needing it at our gates for the machine block. This recipe here, there's other ways to make it, but I sort of like the resource usage of this one. It makes 3. And so that's sort of a nice one. 3 at a time. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to need a lot of these machine blocks for extra utilities. So at some point in the near future, and I don't know if I'll actually show it because you don't want to watch me craft every damn thing I craft, but we're going to probably make either 6 or 9 machine blocks, probably 9, which is one of the reasons we still have a lot of sturdy casings. And so we'll stock up on those machine blocks and get this unlocked, which will then give us 8 upgrade speeds. Is probably what I'll take as a reward. That will make the survival generator much faster. And I don't know if it's doing anything with that charcoal. I'm going to take it out for now. And so that'll be a viable power source for us until we make something much better. Since we've still got, if you were watching back when I made the charcoal pit, we still have a little bit of charcoal left. But so that's all going on, and then we've got that. So what do I really want to do? I think it's now time to possibly do some exploring. We got our glider, we got teleportation, so I can just glide off in any direction I want and then teleport back to base with the brown magic on either my pickaxe or my broadsword. So we are mobile now. And so probably what I'll do is do a jump cut here, and I'll probably just go fly around the map and see what I see, look for some trouble to get into. And then I'll also probably pick a spot for our nether portal, and we'll peek into the nether portal and see what we're up against. Hopefully we come in a spot where we have a little room to maneuver and build a little base to protect us from gas and blazes from shooting at us. And then we'll look for, we'll get our nether rack and start making some steel, because steel is the next main thing from a progression standpoint that we're really into getting. All right, so I'll pause here and I'll start back up when I have something exciting. Bye. So I'm out here flying around doing some exploring, and I thought I'd give a brief explanation of the kinds of things that I'm looking for. So things that we are looking for is, you see caves like this and walls like that where there's exposed stone. I'm keeping my eyes open for things like that for Thaumcraft crystals. We're going to need a handful of at least each color to start moving on Thaumcraft. And then also the other thing I'm looking for is, I've already picked some Botania white mystical flowers, and I've started picking some red and brown ones. So I'm sort of keeping my eyes open for some light gray ones. I think there's some normal gray ones over there, but I'm keeping my eyes open for some light gray ones to make Indo Flames, which is the flowers that will burn burnables and turn it into mana for our mana pool. So in other words, I'm keeping my eyes open for a few things to advance us in our magic stuff. I'm keeping my eyes open for any structures. I'm keeping my eyes open for dragons. And I'm keeping my eyes open for a large Astral Sorcery temple that has a floating crystal in it, so we can get Astral Sorcery. That's mostly what I'm looking for. From a gathering standpoint, I'm mostly looking for things to get the magic stuff moving. So yeah, that's what I'm going to watch for, and I'm going to pause and continue flying around here, and I'll be back when I find something interesting. And like just a minute after pausing, I found one of the Astral Sorcery large temples that I said I was looking for. So we're going to need this to get Astral Sorcery moving. So what we're going to do here is, so these ones have a lot of sea lanterns. If you're into sea lanterns, if you need some prismarine for something, you can collect those, or you can use them as light sources. There's lots of marble we could probably harvest here, and we're going to need lots of this Astral Sorcery marble to create our own Astral Sorcery temples. There's also loots, so we're going to dig in underneath it, and I'll show you the main thing we're here for. Throw some light down here. So the main thing we are interested in is, there's probably another chest in this corner. Yes. We would like to make that water stop, please. Thank you. See if we can whack the water with dirt. Yes. Get it all? Yes, we got it all. Okay, so so these ones usually have 2 chests. We've found the 5 constellation papers we need, so there's nothing really on that one anymore. We're just going to go ahead and take it and play in single player, so otherwise I would leave that for other players. But I want the chest, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. Then we're going to run over to this other one. Grab more glowstone and more papers and another chest. And then we'll talk briefly about why we need this bad boy. So this floating crystal here is under these types. And if you set up a crafting table here, you can craft your, let's see if the book actually tells us about it yet. So Astral Sorcery. So we need to actually complete this first before it'll let us even look at it. So I need to go find some crystals for Thaumcraft. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll bring a crafting table here, and under the light, the starlight of this floating crystal, we will be able to make a, I think we make the wand first, and then we make a crafting table, and then we can take that crafting table away from here and use it as our base. So I think we only need it long enough to craft the wand and the crafting table, but I'm not really familiar. That's about as, I haven't made it too far into Astral Sorcery, so I'm not sure what happens later. We might have to come back here, so we won't destroy anything right away. So this was one of the things I wanted to find. We're going to set up a waypoint for it, so that I remember it's here. Floating crystal. And we'll save that. Turn it off for now. And I'll have to, when I find the rest of my Thaumcraft things and get that unlocked, we'll have to see what we need to do. So speaking of that, it is almost getting dark, but I find that if I get some elevation and look around at nightfall, I sometimes spot some of the Thaumcraft ones. So we've got Sky Rock crater over there. We got a little cave there. Wherever there's exposed stone, sometimes you can find them. And sometimes they will glow at night, and you'll be able to spot them from afar. I'm tempted to fly around at night, but my armor still sort of sucks, so, and I'm not in a big hurry. So we'll go ahead and sleep through the night. But yeah, if you're looking for these, now we can see what these look like on the map. They look like that. So sort of a square with a little edges on them. So that's different than the medium-sized ones like this, which are just plain square with some water in the middle. Since these have a roof on them, you don't see the water. So that's what we're looking for there, and that's what we found. So that's all good. Looks like there's some sort of building down there. We might go check that out, and we're just going to continue flying around. And that may all be all we do here. I just want to sort of find a few things now that we're so mobile. Find a few things that I've been looking for. So I will pause here, and I'll be back if I find something more interesting. And actually, I haven't shown a lot of gliding around, so maybe I'll just take you with me. This is probably going to be about the end of this episode. We're going to need to start opening up those skystone meteorites soon, but I can wait for now. That takes up a lot of, if I keep the stone, it takes up a lot of space. So here I'm scanning the stone walls for Thaumcraft crystals. I'm looking in the caves in particular. See, there's some right down there. So let's go ahead, boing, and fly down here. And I'm usually a little bit more careful when I descend, but I've still got my slide boots on because I don't have any real armor. So one thing to notice, these do take a harvest level osmium. You can break the rock that they're sitting on and get them to fall early, but boom. And I have global traveler, so those now appeared in a box in my base. But that sort of gives you that strategy. Again, I can scan the rest of these stone walls while I'm standing here. Peek into caves, see if there's anything else going on. I haven't shown you up close what the bone blocks look like, but I just happen to be standing next to one. So this is a buried dinosaur bone kind of thing. I've also seen huge giant skulls in the desert and things like that. But if you're an agriculture person and want to bust out a lot of plants, there are ample opportunities to get tons of bone meal. There's probably underground here a ton of more blocks. So maybe I'll just go ahead and send some of that back towards my base. So you can see there was a lot more underground here. Since I'm standing here, I'm going to go ahead and grab that aluminum, because I don't think I have a ton of aluminum, and the charged Certus quartz, because eventually I'm desperately going to need applied energetics to have some inventory control. Now let's return to flying around. Again, sort of scanning for Thaumcraft crystals on stone walls, or looking for any structures or interesting things. Sometimes it's hard to get through these tall forests, but you can land on the leaves sometimes if you're paying attention. And then slime sling up off of them. Check the map real quick. I'd also like to find another village. Oh, and here we go. I'm glad I noticed. So that is going to be a dragon hoard. So this charred area, that's going to be charred earth and charred stone. The gold ones are going to be little piles of gold, which vary from like a few nuggets to several nuggets worth of gold in each pile. And the brown things are going to be chests, which have some really nice stuff in them sometimes. Sometimes it's just cyclic charms and things like that. But other times it can be some really nice thing. The main thing we'd really love to see if we found in there would be some fuel. Whoa, and here it comes. So we're going to have to run here. Fortunately, we're in trees, so I can duck and get cover. I'm glad I got you with me, because now you can see me fight or run. So I can hear it and see it over there. So they shoot flame. They tend to go after animals a lot too. So what it's doing is it's over there. We got a green fire dragon, and it's over there shooting fire. They do chase you for quite a ways, but they don't seem to go past biome borders. One thing I'm here watching for is they have a tendency, because they're so big, to get stuck. And if that bad boy is stuck in the trees, which he might be, we might be able to get around him and steal some of his hoard without him getting us. So I'm just going to stand here a bit and watch him and see if he moves, or if he just thrashes around in the trees right there. And I think he might be sitting over there thrashing. So other thing about dragons, these ones that are on the surface are younger than the ones that you find deep underground, so they're easier to kill. When you kill them, if you, I think, right-click on their bodies with an open hand, key point being open hand, you can get like bones and skulls and skin scales from them that you can do stuff with the Ice and Fire mod. You can get some, build some armor and stuff. I don't think it's anything super impressive when put in the context of this particular mod pack, but if you were using a more sparse mod pack, it might be a fun thing to do. The ones that are in deep underground and big circular caverns underground, I saw one of them when I was trying this out. I think they're older, stage 4 and 5 dragons, I think they call them. They have considerably more hit points. I shot 2 stacks of arrows from a crappy bow into it, and it didn't seem, it was doing damage, 2 to 4 points per arrow, but it didn't kill it. I don't know if it was regenerating faster than I was hurting it, or if it just had huge amounts of hit points, but that's something to keep in mind. I was able to kill one above ground, one of these smaller ones. I had just a standard bow that was enchanted, so I didn't have like a Tinker's Construct laser gun or crossbow or shurikens or anything really nice, but I did have a nice bow that was infinity, multi-shot, power 4, and it was I was able to, when it was stuck in the trees, gun it down from a distance, so that was sort of nice. So that's sort of the field report on dragons. Did it leave? I think it might have moved on, which is actually a bad thing because that means it's not stuck, which means it will eventually see us and come after us. But since this is some excitement, we're going to go ahead and try and sneak closer. We do have some tree cover, and it's shooting the crap out of that poor sheep. But it's in the air up above us. So it is not stuck, which means we're not probably going to have a whole ton of luck snaking some of its hoard without getting burned alive. The fire from these ones up on the surface didn't seem too horrible. I think they were doing 2 or 3 hearts per tick. But definitely some fire resistance or a fire resistance potion would help. With crappy armor and no fire resistance, I would have to run probably if this guy sees me and comes after me. They can also land and attack you, but they do tend to prefer the shooting fire from the air. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a good look at him without getting ourselves killed. So we'll sneak in here and I can show you the gold piles. We can pick up some nuggets. It's, I think, off chasing a sheep somewhere. What we want to be looking for is the chests. Now, one thing to be careful about here is that here's some other weirdness. There he is up in the air. So you can see him. He's going to spot us and shoot at us real quick here. And it's getting dark. I think I'm going to run over here and try and sleep real quick. If I can get away with it before he spots us. One thing to watch out for though in those chests is when I was running around doing this, I did appear to pick up something radioactive out of a chest, which killed me over and over and over and over again. I like how there's... Oops, there he is. I like how there's cooked meat on the floor everywhere from him running around chasing animals. But while he is chasing animals, let's try it. Ah! And there he got us. So, serpentine, serpentine. So right now we're just trying to keep to tree cover and get some distance. Some water might also be helpful. We can outrun them with We'll put ourselves out, and then get away. Almost jumped out of my skin when he finally did get around to shooting us. Poor zombie Steve. So they don't chase you too far, and the glider is faster than them. Fortunately, he cooked some animals for us, so we'll eat his food real quick. But there you go. I am over time again, as I tend to be. Here's some brown flowers for our Indoflame for Botania, so we'll grab those. Now we can see where that thing is on the map. So now we can see this area here. They don't tend to follow you, I think, to the next biome. So if you can get out of the biome, I think they stop chasing you for the most part, unless they're near the border. But yeah, we will come back when we have some fire resistance and maybe a weapon that can kill a dragon, and get the rest of his stuff. Or I might just come back and try and steal it, because if there is, say, some plutonium-238 in there or some other thing, it's not too hard if you can snake some nuclear fuel to make a really nice nuclear power source, I think. So that would be handy. So we will come back and visit this guy again. But for now, I think, in fact, let's go ahead and yoink, teleport back to our base with our brown magic. And we're going to call it a quits for this episode. And if you're watching, thanks for watching. And I'm going to clean up my inventory, and then maybe do a bit more of what we just did, which is flying around the neighborhood. You can see that, you can see that I was able to basically go take a look at all of this with the glider, and it happened pretty quick, other than me stopping to play with the Astral Sorcery Temple and stopping to play with the dragon. So we'll probably continue that out and open up the rest of this, and I'll show you guys anything interesting that I find. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll go to the Nether and take a look at what we're facing there. Anyway, that's it for this episode, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.